Did you know that between the moment your baby is born and their third birthday, their brain is forming over 1 million neural connections every single second? It is the most explosive period of growth a human being will ever experience. But here is the terrifying truth. Most of us are accidentally sabotaging that growth without even realizing it. If you are currently using a tablet to keep your toddler quiet during a long commute in Los Angeles, or if you find yourself scrolling through Instagram while nursing your newborn in a quiet apartment in Chicago, you need to stop right now. Because the habits we think are just easier are actually rewiring our children's brains in ways that could lead to lower IQs, emotional instability, and a lifetime of learning struggles. Today, we are diving deep into the 9 dangerous parenting habits that affect your baby's brain development. This isn't about guilt. It's about science, awareness, and taking action before those neural pathways are set in stone. Why do we do the things we do? Well, most American parents are overworked and exhausted. We've been told by experts on TikTok or in outdated parenting books that babies are resilient, that they don't really get what's happening until they're older. We think, oh, they won't remember this, or it's just a little bit of TV. But the biology says otherwise. Harvard University's Center on the Developing Child has proven that the architecture of the brain is built through a process called serve and return. When you ignore that process, you aren't just missing a moment, you are missing a building block. Let's look at the elite. The neuroscientists in Silicon Valley, the ones designing the very apps we use to distract our kids, they often ban screens for their own children until they are much older. Why? Because they know the secret. They know that a baby's brain requires human interaction to wire the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for focus, decision-making, and social behavior. If you aren't doing what they're doing, you're essentially letting a machine raise your child's mind. Habit number 1, the digital pacifier. This is the most common crime against brain development in the modern age. We've all seen it at a restaurant in Manhattan, a 2-year-old staring blankly at a screen while the parents eat in silence. When a baby looks at a screen, their brain is flooded with dopamine from the bright colors and fast cuts. This overstimulates the developing brain to a point where the real world, the slow, beautiful, quiet real world, becomes boring. Research from the American Academy of Pediatrics shows that for every hour of television watched by toddlers, their risk of attention problems at age 7 increases by 10%. It's not just distraction, it's structural damage. A study conducted in 2019 used MRI scans to show that children who spent more time on screens had lower structural integrity in the white matter of their brains, the areas that support language and literacy skills. If you want a child who can read, focus, and solve problems, the screen has to go. Habit number 2, failing the serve and return. Imagine a game of tennis. Your baby makes a sound or a face. That's the serve. You respond with a smile or a word. That's the return. This interaction is the literal fuel for brain growth. When a parent is physically present but emotionally absent, perhaps staring at their phone, they fail to return the serve. This leads to a spike in cortisol, the stress hormone, in the baby's brain. Chronic high levels of cortisol can actually shrink the hippocampus, the part of the brain dedicated to memory and learning. Habit number 3, the background noise trap. Many parents leave the TV on for background noise while they clean or cook. Even if the baby isn't watching it, the constant auditory input disrupts their ability to distinguish human speech patterns. It creates a noise floor that makes it harder for them to pick up on the nuances of your voice. This leads to language delays. Your baby's brain is trying to map out sounds, and when Wheel of Fortune is blaring in the background, that map gets cluttered and confused. Habit number 4, overstimulation and the toy avalanche. We think we're being good parents by buying the flashiest, loudest toys from the big box stores in suburban Houston. But a brain that is constantly bombarded with flashing lights and electronic music never learns how to self-soothe or engage in deep play. This habit kills creativity before it even starts. Scientists found that babies with fewer toys actually played longer and more creatively with each one, leading to better cognitive development. Habit number 5, lack of physical touch. We live in a society that tells us not to spoil babies by holding them too much. This is biologically backward. Skin-to-skin contact releases oxytocin, which acts as a protective shield for the developing brain. Without enough touch, a baby's brain enters a survival mode. In the famous Romanian orphanage studies, children who were deprived of touch had significantly smaller brains and lower brain activity than those in loving homes. Touch is not a luxury. It is a neurological necessity. Habit number 6, the hovering parent. By never letting your baby experience minor frustrations or boredom, you are preventing the development of the executive function. When a baby struggles to reach a ball and finally gets it, a circuit in their brain clicks. If you always hand them the ball, that circuit never fires. You are accidentally teaching their brain that they don't need to try. Habit number 7, inconsistent sleep schedules. In our 24/7 culture, we often drag babies along to late-night dinners or events. But sleep is when the brain cleans itself. During REM sleep, the brain is busy pruning away unnecessary connections and strengthening important ones. If sleep is fragmented or inconsistent, the brain cannot finish its construction work for the day. Habit number 8, harsh discipline and shouting. Even if a baby doesn't understand your words, they understand the frequency of your anger. Shouting triggers the amygdala, the fear center. If a baby lives in a home with constant shouting, their brain becomes wired for fear. They will grow up with a hypersensitive nervous system, making it nearly impossible for them to regulate their emotions as adults. Habit number 9, the silent parent. This is the habit of not narrating your day. Some parents only talk to their babies when they need something. Eat this, change your diaper. But the word gap study showed that children from families where parents talked constantly to them heard 30 million more words by age 3 than those who didn't. This isn't just about vocabulary, it's about the complexity of the neural network being built. Now, how do we fix this? I want to introduce you to the C.O.R.E. framework. It stands for connection, observation, responsiveness, and environment. This framework was developed based on the latest neuropediatric research to help parents rewire their own habits to better serve their child's brain. Let's look at C for connection. This means eyes on, phones off. When you are with your baby, especially during feeding or play, your eyes should be locked on theirs. This activates their mirror neurons. For example, if you're at a park in Chicago and your baby points at a pigeon, don't just nod. Look at the pigeon, look back at them, and say, "Yes, that's a gray bird. See how it hops?" That tiny interaction is like a protein shake for their frontal lobe. The O is for observation. Stop trying to entertain them. Just watch. What are they interested in? If they are staring at a shadow on the wall, don't distract them with a noisy toy. Let them observe. Their brain is figuring out light, depth, and physics. Your job is to protect their focus, not interrupt it. Let's talk about a real-world case study. Sarah, a marketing executive in New York, realized her 2-year-old was having massive meltdowns and had almost no words. She was using an iPad for every meal. She decided to implement the C.O.R.E. framework. She did a digital detox. For the first week, it was brutal. Her son screamed for the screen. But by week 3, he started making eye contact again. By month 2, his vocabulary exploded. Why? Because his brain finally had the quiet space it needed to process language from his mother, instead of pixels from a screen. If you want to see these results, you need a roadmap. Week 1 is your digital detox. Remove all screens from the baby's environment. Yes, even the background TV. It will be hard for you too. You'll feel the itch to check your phone. Resist it. Use that time to narrate everything you do. I am washing the blue cup. Now I am drying it with the soft towel. It sounds silly, but it is linguistic gold. By month 2, you move into the sensory phase. Focus on floor time and tactile play. Let them touch grass, sand, water, and fabric. The somatosensory cortex, the part of the brain that processes touch, is massive in babies. Feeding that part of the brain helps with motor skills and emotional grounding. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I'm a single parent working 2 jobs. I don't have time for narrated play all day. I hear you. Troubleshooting these habits isn't about being perfect. It's about being good enough. Research shows that if you get serve and return right just 50% of the time, your baby will still thrive. You don't have to be a monk. You just have to be present when you are there. If you only have 20 minutes of quality time before bed, make those 20 minutes a phone-free zone. That small window of high-quality connection can buffer the stress of the rest of the day. For those who want to go even deeper, the advanced layer involves understanding neuroplasticity and epigenetics. You aren't just raising a baby. You are potentially changing the genetic expression of your future grandchildren. When you provide a low-stress, high-engagement environment, you are actually turning off genes related to anxiety and turning on genes related to cognitive resilience. You are literally a genetic engineer. To recap, the old belief that babies are blank slates who don't feel or remember is dead. The truth is, they are super sponges whose brain architecture is being built by your daily habits. Stop the screens. Start the serve and return. Narrate your life. Lower the noise. And most importantly, hold them. Your action item for today is simple. The next time you are with your baby, leave your phone in another room for just 30 minutes. Look into their eyes. Follow their lead. If they look at a spoon, talk about the spoon. If they laugh, laugh back. You will feel your own brain relaxing, and you will be giving them the greatest gift possible. A strong, healthy, and capable mind. Comment below with one habit you're going to change starting today. Is it the background TV? The dinner time scrolling? I want to hear from you, and I will be answering your questions about brain development in the comments. In our next episode, we're going to talk about the food-brain connection and how specific nutrients can boost your child's focus. You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep connecting. I'll see you soon.